Okay, so today's lesson, the distributive property, is also related to adding and subtracting polynomials, or collecting like terms, our previous lesson. We're going to be using the distributive property. As it's written in a textbook, you would see that there is an a and then x plus y, which is equal to ax plus ay. We're going to use an example with BEDMAS to show how this works. So if you remember with BEDMAS, we would have to use the brackets, or evaluate the brackets first. So 3 we just copy, 5 plus 2 is 7, the total is 21. We can also use the distributive property to do the same thing. If we use distributive property, a would be replaced by 3, and x would be replaced by the 5, and y would be replaced by 2. So what that looks like is 3 times 5, so that's your ax, 3 times 2, that's ay, which equals 15 plus 6, also equal to 21. So it just shows that it's possible to arrive at the same answer using the distributive property instead of just the regular BEDMAS we're used to. And this will help us when we look at an expression algebraically when we can't add the x plus y right away. Here's our first expression. So the distributive property, first example, we have 3 on the outside. It's going to be multiplied by x and multiplied by 2. And you can show this in your second step. This would be your ax and your ay. But you can also skip this step, if you remember that it's multiplication, and go directly to the simplified expression of 3x plus 6, where all those brackets are no longer necessary. So this here is your simplified expression. Okay, in our next example, you can see that there's a 2 to distribute or multiply with the binomial x minus 1. So 2 times x minus 2 times 1. Remember, this line is optional. So just move my hand. Line is optional. And then you would see the result 2x minus 2. So that's our simplified expression. To review all the terms we've learned, we have simplify, expand, and then you're going to also see putting it all together, expand and simplify. Simplify is to add or subtract by collecting like terms. Expand, what we've done today, is to multiply or distribute, okay, to remove the brackets. Okay, that allows us to simplify further. And expand and simplify, as you'd imagine, is to do both. So we multiply first, then collect like terms. Simplify is add or subtract, expanding is multiplying, and expand and simplify, we do multiplication first and then adding or subtracting. Let's try our 2 final examples, putting it all together. So with this example, the 2 is being distributed into the first binomial, and then the 3 is being distributed into the second binomial. And I'm not going to show the optional lines anymore. I'm just going to go straight to the simplified expression. So multiplication or distributive property would say that this is 2x, 2 times x, and 2 times negative 1, just like before. And then a positive 3x and a positive 12. Next we collect like terms. So that was expanding. This is simplifying. 2 and 3x both have an x, so they make a total of 5x. Negative 2 and positive 12 both do not have a variable, so they are like terms, and they simplify to just positive 10. So negative 2 plus 12 is positive 10. And our second example, expand and simplify. You can see that the distributive property can also be applied to a trinomial, and that means we're going to multiply 2 by 3 different terms. So let's do that part first. 2x squared, negative 8x, and positive 12. 2 times x squared, 2 times negative 4x, 2 times 6. And for the second bracket, it doesn't look like there is a term there, but if you remember, just that negative sign represents the coefficient negative 1. So we're going to distribute a negative 1 to these 3 terms inside the trinomial. So negative 1 times 3x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. And now we're going to look for like terms. X squared, here's 1. Here's another 1. If we simplify 2, subtract 3, we get negative 1x squared, and we don't write that 1. For the x's, I see that there is a negative 8x and a negative 2x. Altogether, that's negative 10x. And plus 12 and plus 4 result in a total of plus 16. So our simplified expression is negative x squared minus 10x plus 16.